Halter.
Here.
Hermes. Here. Lee.
Here.
Walther. Here. Moore.
Here. And Mr. Cavode has an excused absence. And we have a prayer by Mr. Dries.
Lord, we ask that you watch over the village and all the residents as elected officials. We pray that you would give us wisdom to make good decisions, decisions that are fair and just for all. And we pray for those that are struggling with health issues. I pray that we would be good neighbors and care for them. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We have the minutes of the regular council meeting of June 27, 2017, and the council meeting work session of July 11, 2017. Any comments or corrections?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt the minutes.
All right, so approved. Okay, this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions that concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the lectern, give your name and address, and state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. And we do have a guest tonight from the County Commissioner's Office, and so I would imagine you might want to say a few words.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. And I promise not to be long. As promised, when I was here for the unveiling of the historic marker, I promised to come back and deliver my menu of opportunity. So here I am, like the bad penny, I just keep on coming back. So I am doing my 49, there are 49 jurisdictions in the Hamilton County, and so I'm visiting all 49 in 49 days or so. Because I didn't hit that mark, and I'm in the 30s. So I'm just coming around to introduce myself as the newly elected county commissioner, but also the county commission on the whole, and the other commissioners do know that I'm doing this, so all is well. So I've provided contact information for the commissioners, and also some opportunities for shared services, for consolidation, for economic development. We offer a lot at the county, and as a new commissioner, as I've learned some of what we do, I thought it might be useful to provide this information to all the local jurisdictions. Some are already doing a lot of this. Others are intrigued to know that you can buy salt together or maintain fire hydrants together or utilize the sheriff's department for safety patrols, or there's a whole gamut of things that the county offers if you so choose to do that. So I'm going to pass these out. It outlines some of the departments, some of what they offer, and then contact information in every case. Also, they know that I'm doing this, so the department heads are saying, where have you been? And we're getting calls. And I said, well, that's the good news, because the county really does want to be a partner with all of you in the work that you're doing for Greenhills. So I'm going to pass these out. Happy to answer any questions that you have if I can, but really I'm here to introduce myself in this menu so that you can take a look and call anytime. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a list there of the meeting dates or anything like that, or is it on the website?
Yes, we actually have a pretty good website. We just redid it. It's pretty easy to use. Hey, Harry, something else that's on the website is an application to our boards and commissions. And so there are opportunities there to get involved with some of what the county's doing. Thank you. I've got a Women and Girls Council that we're kicking off. And I am encouraging women and girls from all over that have any interest in participating. It's not strictly defined to pay equity or leadership, because we're going to have girls on the commission, and there will be a 20 women to 10 girls, and we're going to let the girls drive some of the work that we do. So that's one example of what you will find on the county website. And then, the application, like I said, is there. And so anyone is willing to participate. We are going to be very intentional about having a broad array of women and girls so we don't get pigeonholed into one thing or the other. So that's a good opportunity that's coming forward. But there are a lot of boards and commissions to which we appoint people. And we'd love to have the diversity that represents the entire county sitting on these boards and commissions.
Well, if you think of any place that I can assist you in any way possible, I came here as a Cuban refugee, so I'm Hispanic. And if it's something that will help with the county having to do with that particular venue, I'm more willing than anything to help you out.
Okay, thank you. And one other thing, when it comes to economic development and community revitalization, as you know, many of the city neighborhoods have CDCs, Community Development Corporations. We have Planning and Development and the Hamilton County Development Corporation. Both of these entities help with strategic planning for business districts, business-to-business support, and so if that's something of interest, the contact information is here, and if I can be helpful in facilitating a meeting under any of these categories, please let me know. I would hope that if you just contact the director of each department, they would be more than happy to take that meeting, but if there's anything that you need from me, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, we're pretty familiar with Todd because he helped us with our master plan, and
Oh.
we actually won an award for our master plan the
Okay.
year after it was finished.
See, so
we
you're
got-
further ahead than a lot of the other
Yeah,
communities.
but
Yeah.
there's probably some services maybe that we're not taking full advantage of. So.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. Okay, we have any residents?
Hi, my name is Patricia Bender. I live on Handle Lane. And I am coming to council with some concerns that I have. I watched last month's council meeting and went to the Streets and Service meeting last night, which didn't happen. And my concern was, which I'm bringing to you, is the concerns of what is going to happen with the golf course. It appeared from the last month meeting that Jeff stated there were some problems with the greens and that we probably need to talk more about what to do with the golf course. So I went to that meeting intentionally to kind of talk about that and what his intention was, what he felt were options, and where the council appears to be going with this. I really hope that whatever happens within this village, that the people of the village find out and are part of a share, town meeting, or whatever it is on anything that we do rather than just a council meeting. Because as you can see, not a lot of people from the village come to the council meetings. Though I don't make all of them, I do watch them on TV, and it's where I get the subtlety of concerns that I find that I think that I wanted to come to you and address, because I felt that I didn't want to lose our golf course, and as I speak to people within the village, it's been something on the plate for a while and something that the council really is not really in favor of keeping. And so I kind of wanted to bring that up as a concern, and maybe you can share and talk about it. To me, if there's issues of finance or not being utilized, I would think that there could be some options on fundraising. To me, it kind of would fall under community development or some way of getting the community to get involved with Friends of the Golf Course or such to keep what the village is recognized for to have. I think marketing of the village too is quite lacking. I rent golf carts, as you know, and people down at the campgrounds don't even know what we have up here. And I think if they did, we'd see a lot more utilization of the golf course as well as the pool and the restaurants and the stores. So that is all I have to say, and I hope we can bring it up and talk about it in your meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Ms. Walter, my name is Joel Suggs. I live on Deer Hill Lane.
And Ms. Walter, do you know the revenue for the golf course for this year?
I do not.
Do you know the expenses?
I do not. I requested that, and was not able to see if it was sent yet or not. I
Do you know-
requested that yesterday.
Do you know the number of members this year?
I do not.
Does anybody know?
25.
I'm sorry?
25 members.
And the revenue?
It's down on my desk. If you'd like me to go down and get it, I will.
Well, no, that's all right.
You don't know.
He can
You know
call
the
you tomorrow
expenses?
about that if he wants.
I'm sorry?
I said you can give her a call tomorrow about that.
Okay. Do you know the expenses?
No, I don't.
Ms. Walter, you don't know them either?
No, I do not. I requested that information. I don't know if it was sent or not. I didn't have time to check before coming here.
Does anybody else know? It's here?
I know it runs in the red.
Yeah, we know that.
Well, I mean, in the big picture, that
Yeah.
it runs in the red. So.
Right.
Hold on, I've got the through 6:30.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. Here we go. Find the right fund number.
1581? But my memory's getting older, Glenn. I think the fund number is 1581, but I'm not sure.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I might be wrong.
I think it'd be.
Well, do
I'm
you
getting
want, do you have
close.
anything else you want to say while so go ahead while he's researching.
Revenue year-to-date is $15,288, but of that, transfers in would be $10,000 of that, so $5,288.58.
Do you have the expenses on that report too, or not?
I do. Keep talking. I don't want to waste your 3 minutes.
I'd like to let the Greenhills residents know, including those on council and our 4 employees present, that there's a time-tested method to keep the golf course improving and thriving. It will only be pennies per month for Greenhills household, and that will give year-round free golf to all 3,500 residents. I look forward to explaining this to any resident or employee who'd like to know more when I have more time. Glenn, I'm about up. I started at 7:09.
Year-to-date expenses were $16,039.44.
All right, thanks, Glenn, so much.
Yep.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay. That it? Okay, moving on, reports of village officials, municipal manager Yvonne Kovac.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to start with a couple of public records requests I've had in the last 6 months. Received one on June 26th. This was a walk-in request from an Ashley Nolan for Arborist reports from 2015 to the present. Also received one on April 27th from a Megan Belinsky for council planning zoning meetings, minutes of those for February through April and May, agendas for all meetings. Okay, so on my council report.
Do we post those online, the minutes?
Usually, I don't think they're up yet,
Okay.
but yeah, we will be getting those up. The first item I have in my report for you is we've received some plans for the first phase of a facade renovation of the shopping center. And I gave you pictures of the proposed work area, as well as the elevations for those. Essentially, we're looking at the section that goes from, I believe it's Christie's, around the corner by the Creamy Whip to the, it should be in the packet I distributed in front of everybody.
I don't have one.
Well, I did sit one down in front of, take Jeff Votes in, there should be one there. Okay, so anyway, what I gave you, I also gave you two, just so you know what's in there, the overall project area, the 2 elevations, and then 2 photos of what it currently looks like in those particular areas. And then the last sheet gives you a close-up of the parapet. That's Creamy Whip, right? So it starts at Christie's, goes around the Creamy Whip to past the new event center. That's the section. Okay? Essentially, what is being constructed is a new parapet that is stepped up to a maximum height of 11.8 feet. This goes from the bottom of the existing, it's called a metal fascia, but basically if you look at the bottom of the current canopy, it starts there and goes up. So it's stepped up as you look at it. As you can see from the elevations, I don't have a packet in front of me, but okay, it has a high-performance cementatious exterior coating. Did I say that right?
EFIS, yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be topped with a pre-finished aluminum coping system that will have a continuous LED lighting system. We don't have any information on colors of that or colors of the paint at this point in time, but the information that was submitted is consistent with zoning. The owner's been informed that once the old signage comes down in those areas, it will have to be replaced with signage that meets the current code. So I wanted you to see it. It has just gone up to the building department for review.
Okay.
Any questions on that? The shopping center owner considers that as a first phase for facade improvements. One of his intentions is to try to hide any mechanics, although if you've noticed, that particular section also has new roofing on it now. And he has removed a lot of the mechanics from up in that area, things that weren't being used at all. So.
And the signage will be placed where?
Well, the signage that gets removed as a result of this will have to comply with our new code when it gets put back up again.
Okay, and where is the new sign going to be placed?
Well,
Over the business.
right, over each business.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the shopping center sign, it would be individual retail.
Right,
shop
right.
sign.
Like Christie's.
Okay.
Who else do we have? We have Wanda's there. We have Creamy Whip, Ameristop.
But it would be like visible from Winton? They could read it in Winton when they're coming through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same location, only it would have to conform to the code, so.
And the signage will be on the EFIS front.
Right, as it is now.
Right.
It's just, will be a new one.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Alrighty, next item, and it's on your agenda tonight, a resolution authorizing the extension of our current contract with Compass Minerals. And this is something we do with the county. And we're lucky, we're renewing again at $50.07 per ton. Obviously, our cost of salt has dropped over the last 3 years, and so has the amount of snow, which is a good thing. And I just threw out we used 432 tons in the 13-14 season, dropped to 234 in the 14-15 season, and then last year we only used 146 tons. So hopefully this year we'll have another year like that or even less. But we're very happy with that price. Our restroom project, both of our funding sources have approved the bid packet, so that is currently being advertised, and our bids are due back on that August 16th. So I'll have a report for you at our next council meeting. Upcoming events, I am giving each of you a small event list, which is going to be in the ad in the journal for the next issue that comes out, but I wanted you to have a current list of that as well. To update your yellow one there. Okay. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay, and a sign. I have ordered a sign for the Member Appreciation Day. It should be down and posted at the shopping center. I'm going to guess probably one day next week. It should be done and down there posting. You're welcome. Then our swimming pool contract is up this year. They have offered us a 3-year renewal. We currently have a 3-year renewal with at no additional expense. They certainly understand financial constraints. They would like us to renew by the end of August. I shared with them that we don't even have our next council meeting until August 22nd, but I was hoping we could discuss this at the next work session item because we need to look at the data.
Is there a
Memberships,
percentage of
things like
increase?
that. No increase.
Okay,
No
and
increase.
do we know what are the figures of expenses that we?
Well, that's why I'd like to have it at work session. We
Okay.
need some time. I just got this like Friday, and we need to pull all that information together, memberships, expenses, where we see it going,
Do you think
rates,
that we
fees,
can-
things like that.
Do you think that we can also discuss then the golf course situation at that time together with the pool?
It's up to, it's not up to me.
I thought that was what we discussed last meeting about talking about the golf course at the next work session.
Fine. Okay.
Okay.
Great. We learned today that there's a new water main project in the works, similar to the really large scale one we had a number of years ago. This one, though, is going to be over on the east side of town, will impact Ireland, Ilona, Japonica, and a portion of June Field. So we just received the very preliminary plans for that. We'll start reviewing that at the fire department, and we are going to be looking for opportunities. If you remember, we really were able to get a lot of streets paved by tying into that contract when we did it on the west side. So we'll be looking for those opportunities too. So I want to make you aware of that. And that's all I have right now.
Any comments or questions of the manager? Okay, moving on, Law Director Jeff Ford.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick legal update for you. I actually shared this with Ms. Kovac yesterday, some good news for you. This is with respect to the lawsuit, the declaratory judgment lawsuit that the village filed with respect to the illegal auto body shop down at the shopping center. Yesterday, in court, we were able to get a judgment, declaratory judgment issued on that case. It's a magistrate's decision, which means it's not completely effective for 14 days. In essence, they have 14 days to object to it. But given that they haven't filed an answer or responded in any other way, I find it unlikely that they'll object within 14 days. And then that will be accepted by the court. That will be your final judgment, which will give us a little more authority to try to deal with that offense. To help out the surrounding folks. Okay. Other than that, I think that that would conclude. That's the report for you. If you have any questions about any other pending state legislation or anything, I can try to address that.
Has there been any changes or amendments to relative to the state budget? I mean, is it still the issues relative to the tax?
Right.
Tax collection?
I have not seen any yet. I will concede that I was out of town last week, so I wasn't paying as much attention to that. But the last I heard is that it had gone to a conference committee, and I'm not sure that it's been resolved there yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
So
I haven't either.
Clerk of Council Catherine Lives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The July 2017 Community Calendar and Ordinance Number 2017-06 L&R and Resolution Numbers 2017-19F, 20F, 21F, 22 S&S, and 23 L&R were posted as required. Additionally, Resolution Number 2017-20F declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation general operating was forwarded to the Board of Elections on June 28, 2017. And if there are no questions, that would conclude my report.
Okay. All right. Chief Police Neil Fertelman.
Thanks, Mayor. We had members of our Citizens Police Academy alumni that were gracious enough to staff a table at the OLR Festival during Pioneer Days, and they passed out crime prevention materials and also encouraged residents to apply to our Citizens Police Academy. We were very pleased that they solicited 4 applications, and those applications have been turned in and approved. So we're very excited about our Fall Academy that is starting on September 14th and will run every other Thursday until November 9th. If anyone is watching the broadcast and is thinking about it, we encourage them to apply within the next month. We still can take some more vacancies. We think it'll be an exciting time, and courtesy of one of our alumni, all Academy expenses are paid for. There have been donations made, so there will be no expense to anyone participating, and it's from all indications from our alumni. It's been a fun time and an educational experience, so we hope we get some applications in. Members of our department had a busy day and enjoyed Pioneer Day along with our residents. We worked with the runners in the morning, led the parade through the community, and our officers were at the festival throughout the weekend and had a good time interacting with our residents. On July 11th, we had a special visit from a group of children from Sweden who had been staying with some local residents. They visited the village troubadour, and then they came down to tour the police and fire departments. We had a good time showing them our equipment, our facility, and one of the young ladies there is the granddaughter of a retired Swedish police officer, so I'm sure she had some stories to take back to her grandfather. We have been working on a new program that we would like to use to target teens in our community, and that is a potential youth citizen police academy. We're very excited about this idea. I think that it could be beneficial. The goal would be to try and include teens that maybe have been on the fringe and maybe have started down the wrong path, and we'd like to show them what we do, take them to a simulated range and simulated driving, show them some of the things that we do that they might find to be interesting and exciting. There is grant money available that would pay to actually provide them some meals. We'd have this after school and have a graduation ceremony, maybe even take them to a Reds game, soccer game, or something like that afterwards. But we think that this could be a good bridge to open up communications between law enforcement and particularly at-risk teens. And I've talked to some parents for some teens that we've had in, that we've processed, that have been involved in some minor activities, and parents are pretty encouraged about maybe having a helping hand. So we're very excited. Our meeting with the schools is set for next Monday, and so we look to go forward from there. We have continued to experience some nighttime thefts. All of the nighttime thefts have involved unlocked vehicles, so we urge everyone to continue to be vigilant in locking their vehicles. A lot of the people we talk to say, I know, I was running late and I forgot, but it's very important to remember a lot of times this is a crime of opportunity, so a locked vehicle will cause that potential thief to move on. We've developed some leads and we continue to work on those. But we do ask people to lock your cars, leave your valuables not in plain sight, take them into the house so that your car is not a target. On August 23rd, Officer Tricase will be attending instructors training at University Hospital for the Stop the Bleed program. That's a classroom and a hands-on course, and it's going to be taught by UC emergency room docs. And they are going to instruct officers throughout Hamilton County on tourniquet applications and blood loss prevention. Upon graduation from this training, Officer Tricase will be a certified instructor and will teach all of our other officers on the techniques that he learned. During the month of June, we investigated 8 accidents. That's slightly up from 7 last June. 7 crimes, the same as last year. 207 other incidents, which is down from 295 last June. We made 620 contacts. 313 of those were dispatched or received by telephone, and 307 were self-initiated by our officers. We provided assistance to the public in 82 instances. We assisted other agencies 25 times. We made 46 criminal arrests and 101 traffic arrests. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay. Comments or questions? The Chief?
I have several. First of all, I want to thank the police department for the assistance that they gave to a senior citizen that the car broke down right in front of my house, and I asked for help. I was afraid he was going to get hit, since that stop sign is notorious for not California rollers, but for actually just runaway trains.
Sure.
So I was concerned with that. I said that, you know, he stayed there until the AAA came to pick up the car and everything, so I really appreciate that help. It happened to be a neighbor from Forest Park, and he was so impressed. He just had the utmost thankfulness remarks to say to the young man and how much he appreciated the help. Number 2, I have 2 possible husband and wife neighbor that are interested in the police academy.
Good.
So I told them what we did, and they seemed very interested, and I told them please contact their website, the police department directly, whatever you need to do for that.
Thank you.
Third, on that youth group idea that you have, if you need to maybe call for mentors, some of your first graduates, I would be happy to assist you in anything that you may need help with.
Wonderful.
You sometimes, you may not be able to handle it all at once, and you have other calls to attend to, but maybe some of us can fill in some of the time and, take him around or whatever. If
Sure.
you need, whatever you deem that it's appropriate and necessary, give us a phone call. I'm volunteering the rest of my classmates, as you can see. Okay, also, I wanted to encourage all the residents that when you got a gut feeling that something is not right, it's kind of like the dog theory. If it walks like a dog, quacks like a dog, acts like a dog, it is a dog. And there's no reason why they should not call the non-emergency number of the police department announcing that that's a problem. If it escalates, by certainly, for sure, call the 911. But I have called many, many times. I have you in speed dial, hey, there's something wrong. Something is happening in here. This is a person that is living alone. I don't like the looks of it. And it has happened. The last one happened to be a delivery service from Amazon. They have no markings on the car, no markings on the uniform, nothing whatsoever. And when I called, I said, hey, my gut feeling tells me that someone is casing the block. They came in, asked the questions, got IDs, no problems. But then you go back and relax. You don't have that kind of a thought following you for the rest of that 24 hours. So I encourage everybody to make that phone call because they are more than gracious to come and check. So I appreciate all the help you can provide for us citizens.
All right, committee reports, finance and audit, Glenn Dries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are halfway through the year, which means we're halfway through our budget for 2017. I'll just give you a few highlights. Year to date, our revenue from income tax is up 3.61%, so congratulations to those of you that have gotten a raise. Our real estate taxes are down about 7.4% over prior year. And in digging into this, last year we had some real estate taxes that were in arrears that got caught up. So that does not happen every year. But people are paying taxes on time. The valuation is slightly down over prior year, so it's about $14,000 less than last year, but it's not a cause for concern at this time. Year to date, our general fund revenues are about 15% higher. There's a little bit of seasonality in that. We are halfway through the year, so you would think that half of our revenue is here and half of our budgeted expenditures have occurred, when in fact that's not quite the case. We are running a little bit ahead on the collection of revenue as compared to the same percentage last year. Last year we were at 50%, we're at 54%. This year we're spending money a little quicker. But there are some reasons for that. We bought a police cruiser for $42,000. We've given raises to some of our employees. And the refuse and timing of payments is about a $20,000 differential. All this to say, we have a plan, we're working the plan, and we're on the plan. So,
Okay. Comments or questions? Hearing none, recreation, cable television, Maria Walter.
Yeah, we had a meeting and we discussed the coming events, especially the next day at the pool. I still don't have the figures well, I have a regular figures of what we spend on the day at the pool, and we were told pretty much to stay within those limits as well. We're projecting for the Harvest Fest as well. And he had several questions that I tried to get some answers to, and I did, so I passed them along to him. We have been having the chair of the commission, Recreation Commission, and I, who am the chair of the Recreation Committee, we are meeting with staff periodically to facilitate the flow of events and what is happening towards the Harvest Fest. The next time that we meet, I will have about information about 3 or 4 possibilities of phone calls for booths. I already gave one today for especially jewelry making and for pottery, handmade pottery. So there are some people that are coming around that they're asking questions, and I'm having extra copies to give out for them. We did not have a meeting for the cable television that's only occurring quarterly, but we have tried to tied up a few things. We needed a sign for the events, and we're getting those put together. I believe that the sign for the Harvest Fest was found, so some arrangements can be made to alter the dates and so forth. So things are moving along on that respect. We will have a community day at the pool, the recognition day that we have at the pool, and it's coming in August, and after that is the Harvest Fest, and then we'll finish, or the grand finale would be the light up of Greenhills, most likely. So we have a lot of things coming up, and please, I would like for every citizen to come out and participate. This is your village. This is where you belong, and we're doing all these things for your benefit. And I really would like to see a tremendous participation and record participation on those events. So I really encourage you to mark those in the calendar, and please come and join us. Even more so, come and help us. Be a part of it. Be a part of the celebration. It's a celebration for where we live. We are very happy to be here, and I would really like to have everybody come in all. It doesn't matter. We'll find something to do. Believe me, there is plenty to do here in the village. And let's just raise this barn up, and we'll do it all together. And again, I would like to thank our chair of the Recreation Commission, because he's always taken care of the beginnings, ground hard work. And we're very fortunate to have Mr. Collar assisting us on that. Mrs. Collar will help to assist also with the connections that she has for merchants, vendors, etc., like she has on the previous year. So I really am very fortunate to have these 2 members of our community here helping us out. Later on today, I don't know what the plans are, but since Mr. Commode is absent and there is a resolution that he's supposed to read, if the mayor so would desire, I will be glad to fill in for him. And that concludes my report.
Okay. And actually, I skipped my report.
I saw that.
Yeah, but
Nobody picked me.
Figured you didn't have any money, so you didn't
But
want to
like
talk.
that guy
I
figured,
have it.
yeah.
We can step back for
You can
All right.
step in,
Okay.
yeah, we'll
All
let
right. Well, I'll give the mayor's report on the Police Department Municipal Court distribution summary. The county received $100.50. This is for the month of June. The state received $2,511.50. And the village received $11,462.70. So, is that right? Yeah. And so the grand total is $14,074.70.
Is this for the month of July?
June.
June, okay.
Okay, now we'll go back. Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules, Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a point of clarification. The guest, the first speaker tonight was Commissioner Denise Driehaus. She didn't introduce herself, and we didn't introduce her. So, just so that everyone knew who that lady was. That was Denise Driehaus. The Committee, Laws and Rules, Intergovernmental Affairs did not meet this month. Actually, the scheduled meeting was yesterday due to lack of agenda items. If there's no agenda items, there's really no need to meet. Our next scheduled meeting will be August 21st, Monday at 4 p.m., subject to agenda. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any comments or questions? Hearing none. Next, Committee of Service and Streets.
I can handle that, too,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor. The last meeting of Streets and Services was on June 26th. There were 7 agenda items at that meeting that Mr. Kavod addressed at the June meeting. One of those items had to do with golf course maintenance, and really the basis of the conversation regarding that had to do with the fact that we've had a maintenance job opening out on and haven't really received any applications. No one has come forward to take that job, and we discussed briefly the disease that had affected the golf greens rather unhealthily. So that was the pretty much the sum total of that. We did get into a conversation relative to asking the village manager for some financial data, which she's put together and was going to be part of the discussion of the meeting yesterday, but because Mr. Kavod was unavailable, the meeting was canceled. And if ever you want to come to a committee meeting, they're open to the public. But it's always good to check the website, because the website does indicate whether it's canceled. If you don't have internet access, I'm sure a quick phone call to the village administration office will clarify that. Okay?
It wasn't on there.
Huh?
It wasn't on the website.
It was. Yeah, the cancellation would have gone up Thursday, I think,
Yeah.
when Mr. Kavod
Yeah,
was
it was canceled last week.
on
So
the calendar. Always check the calendar.
the
portion.
calendar.
We checked and it wasn't on the calendar.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question. When was the position open or advertised as open? When was that? Because
It's been nearly 2 months.
Yeah,
well,
it's still open.
people that are already working on that situation, they're already employed otherwise. That might be, it's really hard to get somebody in the middle of the year, so to speak, to
Yeah.
do that. So perhaps one of the things that we need to discuss is the timing, which is everything, when that's going to happen.
Or alternate places to advertise for the
Yeah.
position as well.
Yeah.
Well, timing was an issue because we didn't know we were quite going to be in this situation at that time. Okay, moving on, community development.
Actually, I
Jeff
have
Holder.
another question if I
Oh.
could, for Jack.
Yeah.
The status of the lights that are being, I don't know if that's an Yvonne question, the lights that we're looking at in front of the shopping center, where do we stand on that?
I got another email just today. They are still waiting on scheduling.
Okay.
Equipment's been ordered. It apparently has to go to several different vendors, and then they
Actually, complete.
And we're
hopefully it'll
going-
be soon.
We're going to see the color before it's ordered. We discussed that before to look at what the color would look like.
Okay,
No,
these aren't
these-
the signs. These are
Oh.
the
Street lights.
Street lights.
Street-
The street
They're
lights.
black.
Okay,
They're black,
all right.
yeah.
powder coated
Yeah.
signs.
Okay.
Poles.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Questions? All right. Community development, Jeff Holder.
Yes. First off, I think I was in line with Patricia's comment about advertising at the campground. It was one of the first things I started to do when I got on community development. That was a while ago, so maybe things have changed. I was told that they don't accept I was going to try to get brochures down at the campsite and try to find out if there's a way for us to get the word out, because they don't have a swimming pool, and it's probably not the greatest place to swim. So, coming up here would be a natural place to do that. They said they cannot put out brochures. Since then, from a private business or private entity outside of Winton Woods. Since then, though, I was asked by Marty at the Troubadour to put some brochures together for his restaurant for the campground. And I said, before I spend the time to do that, are you sure you can put them out? I guess he talked to one of the employees who said that we'll keep them under the counter and pull them out if someone asks. I don't know if that's with policy or without, but being the village, we definitely want to make sure we're doing it the legal way and the right way. But it might be worth revisiting. That was a good maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I attempted to do that. It is a natural place to get the word out, especially now that Creamy Whip is going strong and we have the Troubadour. At one point, there really wasn't much other than the pool to come up here for
And the golf course.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm not purposely leaving the golf course out. I meant from a food perspective. And then leading on to the golf course, I was never under the impression that we're all about, as a council, getting rid of the golf course. We're residents here. I know that Jeff expressed his point of view, and I think it was kind of an unbiased point of view, saying, hey, we might have to look at this. I think we always have to look at stuff from a financial perspective. I'm a resident here like all of council, and I don't want a big gaping weed park or anything else. I think we've taken steps that we did initially to hire Joel and try to do what we can. I don't think we have an X on the golf course, at least that's my impression. I don't get that impression. We want to keep it thriving and good and healthy. I think we're open to listen to alternatives. But we also have to look at the financial piece of it and see what makes sense to do from a practical standpoint.
I think all that was said was, we need to talk about it. And that's, that was pretty much what was said.
Yeah. And I feel that everybody is in the same camp of, hey, we just need to evaluate and see where to go next. Along with that, it's kind of interesting to me, after doing this, 6 years now.
Just getting warmed up, brother.
It's interesting that it almost like it sometimes seems like a we versus us, like our job is just to take the shortcut and the care portion of the community is not represented up here. I don't think that's true. I think that all of us care deeply for the community and want to make the best choices we can. It's not always easy choices, and we don't always 100% agree, but as far as caring for the community and trying to do the best thing, I think that some of us, if not all of us, go as far as we can possibly go to do that. Other things on the list, I do have the Harvest Fest sign, and I'm going to be taking it up to get the new date on it. I went ahead and trimmed off the Alois backside to it so that we didn't have to have a new sign, a new banner made, and so we'll be putting the date on both sides, although I'm not sure how much you'll see on both sides. Which brings me to a side question on the poles, and I know that was pretty expensive, so that we can't put the banner up over.
Correct. It will have to be on that alternative.
Right.
Set.
But, can we discuss that during the work session? Like, what kind of cost are we looking at to get that fixed up, or what's the plan for
To fix the banner?
the poles?
Oh, the pole.
The poles to
Oh,
hold the banner.
Sure. These out here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's, the estimate was 17 to 25,000. Wow. So
Yeah.
it's a huge hit.
Okay. Well, and I mean, it's nice when we can,
Right.
get the banners overhead and stuff. And I don't know I don't know if there's any alternatives from bidding standpoint or what, but we can, yeah, just asking a couple questions. And then we also, community development, our next community development meeting is on September 12th at 5:15. And that concludes my report.
Any comments or questions?
I have a question. I don't expect you to remember back to the retreat, but I mentioned the idea of having some kind of a package, advertising the pool, the golf course, the tennis courts, etc., and can be sent costly, very minimal cost by just sending it via email to some of the businesses that are around us. Forest Park has 2 major businesses in there, and they have employees in there, that they may be looking forward to something like that as to have as a benefits for the employees. It's kind of like, after you finish the job in here, get the family, play a round of golf, go to the pool, play tennis, have dinner at the Troubadour, something that would let them know what we have to offer, and perhaps making a round amount having to do encompassing all those special things to take part of. Keeping in mind, for example, that there used to be a swimming club in Forest Park, and that's no longer there. So I'm just thinking outside the box a little bit, and perhaps we can come up with that. I never heard anything back. It was I mentioned it on the retreat, but I don't know what steps were taken.
Did you ask me specifically? Or
No, I brought it to the table, and it was something that it was like, okay, it's a good idea, but I don't know specifically who was. To me, it was logically that it would be a community development. So that's what I'm asking you in this moment here, but perhaps the most appropriate would be Ms. Kovac to answer that. I don't know.
And I can't recall, and sometime in the last few months, somebody asked me that question, and it actually staff, Matt Sanders, David Lumsden, and myself worked on just coming up with some basic information. David actually placed calls to probably a half dozen or more local companies, Forest Park, not just Greenhills, even the school district, anybody, to try to see if they were interested in package deals for their employees, and none of them materialized. They all would take it to the top because they weren't the decision makers, but nothing came of any of those contacts.
Was any follow-up done after that?
Oh,
or no?
lots,
Yeah.
lots of attempts, yes.
Because I think that's a really super opportunity to get people coming in here and using the facilities and generating income as well. And having it used. I mean, the thing that we need to see is the people using the facilities and enjoying it. It's a family activities that we are offering. And together with that, perhaps also advertise the area for the picnics and things like that, to make some kind of an attractive, I don't know, kind of get it together, come here, check us out. It's really not that far from where you are, and it's a great place to be. And it's nice for the weekend, especially when you don't have other places to go, or instead of going to some place, I don't know, to the beach or to Kings Island or things like that. So I think that might still be a very viable choice in there for the future, if we can get our thinking caps together before January and start promoting that. So I would like for people to keep that in mind, and perhaps we may have another work session coming up that we can deal with that. That would be, I think, very welcome.
Anything else? Moving on, Safety Committee, Melanie Hermes.
We met today at 5:15. Glenn was present along with staff. We had Yvonne Kovac, David Moore, Neil Furterman, and Tony Spade. We had a resident guest present as well. We talked about unfinished business. Chief Furterman went over some of his statistics, and he mentioned the Youth Citizen Police Academy and also the Fall Citizens Academy coming up. We also, Chief Spaeth talked some fire highlights. The weather siren was struck by a vehicle. So currently, Greenhills is without a weather siren. Concrete was poured in the parking lot. And over the past few years, they've had some infrastructure updates. They've updated the electric, converted to LED lighting, replaced some windows, and the fire department right next door. Their staffing is currently between 40 and 42 people. They get more people, they lose some people. It's kind of a revolving door. As most fire departments, but especially volunteer fire departments, it's a good place to train. But when people's lives change, they need to make decisions. The engine is currently the new engine is currently being built. The old engine is still up for sale. He did mention some new business that kind of go along with what was brought up about the poles outside. We don't have the flashing lights outside the drive, so he mentioned that he would be interested in Greenhills having flashing lights outside the drive for when emergency vehicles were egressing. Then the new business we discussed, we did, I know at a past council meeting, the speeding on residential streets and running of stop signs was brought up, so we did discuss this. 491 traffic citations as of July 24th, 2017 have been issued. 233 of them have been for speeding and 33 have been for stop signs. So they are paying attention to it, and that is a good number, a high number, but hopefully that will bring attention that it is a problem. The chief did reiterate that they do not go out and give tickets for someone going 2 miles over. I'm not going to tell you what his baseline is, but it is for a significant amount over the speed limit. Stop signs, one of the reasons there are only 33, I believe, is because when you're at a stop sign and you see a police cruiser, that is, you are more likely to stop completely and count to 3, so before proceeding. But they are catching them, and people are continuing to violate some of the traffic laws. And then a resident noticed that some of the street lights have some visibility issues with the tree coverage, foliage over, especially on Burley Circle. So some of the actions that we plan on taking is to continue to stay on top of the speeding and stop sign violations. We do realize that the police department is doing more than traffic violations. That's not their sole job, but by being on top of this, that speeding ticket you get, that stop sign you get, it affects how you drive in the future. It changes some of your behaviors when you get called out on it. Especially when being called on it also hits your pocketbook. We are also going to, the manager has said that they'll inspect some of the tree cover and the lights to make sure some of the visibility is being not blocked by our beautiful canopy. We also talked about on-street parking. I know it was brought up. It was brought up in council, but it's also been brought up elsewhere. Currently, if the village has marked spots that, if a vehicle is parked within the spots that the village has marked, it might be closer than the 10 feet as listed in code, but if they're parked within the spots, they don't get a ticket. So it's only if someone's parked outside of the lines would they get a ticket. I know, so the tires, right now, one of the things they do look at is if the tires are between the lines. That's the easiest visibility, but the code does say that the entire vehicle has to be within the lines. But the police have relied mainly on tire placement because that's where you can actually see the vehicle and the pavement interaction, opposed to getting a right edge, straight edge, and checking to make sure that the plane has not crossed. The fire department, the fire chief mentioned that he does have some concerns about some of the parking, but he can work, but he's, the ones that are currently marked, he has seen, and they've been able to work with that. But he did say that if some of the parking gets changed, he just wants to make sure the emergency apparatus still has accessibility. One of the action that we discussed was to update section 35103 of our parking code to add the words "or except as marked by the village," so that it's clearly defined that if you are parked within the marked spaces, that you are parked legally. And then the manager and the service foreman are gonna, actually, the manager and, what is Dave's title?
Assistant manager?
Yes. Looked at possibly, look for on Andover, this is one of the big major spots. This is one of the ones that does have possible solutions. They are looking at pricing on how, if it would be feasible to add some parking on the north side of the street, so on the opposite side of the street, to see if it would be possible to add some parking spots. He did a preliminary drawing, but it does not take into consideration utilities or anything like that. And it looks like it would be possible to add some parking. Unfortunately, some of the other streets, like over in the F section, and there are some more in the A and B section, unfortunately, a lot of those places, when they were built, if you have a 3-unit building, the middle unit doesn't have a driveway. So they have to rely on street parking, which can cause problems, especially when the village was built back in the 30s. You were lucky if a family had a single car, and now, as Glenn said, you're lucky if each person only has a car per household. So we do recognize that there's some challenges, and we're looking at that. We will. They want to take into consideration where utilities are to see if the infrastructure could allow for additional parking in some of the locations, and also how much something like this would cost. But I think that would be a good way to alleviate some of the stress. I did suggest that if there were any changes to the parking, definitely to talk with the fire chief or any one of his designees to make sure that he's not concerned, or the chief's not concerned about emergency vehicles. But I think Mike Castor, our service foreman, was a good asset for that, since he's been around for a while and he's been a volunteer firefighter, so he does understand some of the equipment and that they have to carry. It's not just the vehicle, it's also a fully suited up firefighter with all their gear on, how much clearance they need as well. So they're going to assess the feasibility of adding additional parking, and then they would not do anything without bringing it in front of council. And then another item we talked about were, in March we passed updated our ordinance about signifying electric bicycle, and there was a concern brought up about that definition. So that was kind of later in our meeting, so we're going to defer and talk about that at our next committee meeting, which is being moved from September 26th to October 10th to make sure all members will be able to be present. So the next safety committee meeting will be Tuesday, October 10th at 5:15 p.m. That's all I have.
Comments, questions? All right, hearing none. New business, resolution number 2017-24-SNS. And this is service and streets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Resolution 2017-24-SNS, authorizing the municipal manager to extend the purchase agreement for road de-icing salt from Compass Minerals America, Inc. Whereas it is necessary for the village to have road salt on hand for the treatment of the village streets during inclement weather. And whereas the village of Greenhills has participated in the Hamilton County cooperative bid process in 2016 for the purchase of road salt, and Compass Minerals America, Inc. was the lowest bidder and best bidder at a price of $50.07 per ton, and the village desires to extend the agreement for the 2017-2018 winter season. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to extend the terms and conditions of the 2016 contract with Compass Minerals America, Inc. for the purchase of road salt pursuant to the 2017-2018 winter season. Section 2, that the Village of Greenhills is further authorized to pay Compass Materials America, Inc. a price of $50.07 per ton of road salt pursuant to the said contract. And Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt this resolution.
I second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions on the resolution? That's a good deal to get it for $50.
And we need salt.
Yeah.
Or hopefully not.
Maybe
Yeah.
not, but in case, just in case.
Okay, clerk call the roll.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2017-24-SNS passes. Next, resolution 2017-25-F. Mr. Dries.
Thank you. This is a resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers, whereas the 2017 annual appropriations that were adopted December 27, 2016 are to be amended, and whereas appropriations must not exceed the total available resources of the village per Ohio Revised Code, Section 5705.36A5. Therefore, an amended certificate of estimated resources has been requested from the County Budget Commission. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, that Section 1, certain actions are needed in the monies appropriated so to permit the Village of Greenhills to meet its fiscal obligations for the year 2017. The following items of expenditure are to supplement the appropriations for expenditure for the year 2017. Fund 1000, Administrative Personnel Services, prior appropriation $154,250, change in appropriation $10,500, revised total $164,750. Fund 1000, Council Personnel Services, prior appropriation $18,200, change in appropriation $100, total revised $18,300. Fund 1000, Finance Personal Services, $59,280 was the prior appropriation. The change in appropriation was $600 for a total revised appropriation of $59,880. Fund 1000, Lands and Buildings Personal Services, prior appropriation $108,800, change in appropriation $40,000, total revised $148,800. Capital Outlay Fund 1000, prior appropriation $113,000, change in appropriation $55,000, total revised $168,000. 2081 Fund, Drug Enforcement and Education Other, prior appropriation $9,000, change in appropriation $3,000, revised total $12,000. Fund 2908, Golf Course Personal Services, prior appropriation $10,000, change in appropriation $7,000, total revised at $17,000. Fund 2908, Golf Course Other, prior appropriation $22,000, change in appropriation minus $7,000, total revised $15,000. Fund 2910, Banquet Hall Personal Services, prior appropriation $5,000, change in appropriation, a reduction of $2,500, total revised $2,500. Fund 2910, Banquet Hall Other, prior appropriation $56,315, change in appropriation $3,000 reduction, total revised appropriation $53,315. Section 2, that the following transfers of funds be made from previously appropriated money from General Fund 1002 Golf Course 2908, amount $6,000. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
I second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Does anyone have any comments or questions?
I do have a few questions. On the lands and buildings personal services, why is there an increase of 40,000?
Hold on. Go ahead. If you want to handle them, that's fine. I'm happy to do that, too.
Yeah, currently, we pay some out of street maintenance account as well, but that one hasn't been utilized that much at this point in time. It will be probably starting this month because we charge street painting, which will begin probably next week. We also use that heavily for snow plowing, so it's really, previously we used to charge a whole person to that because during the course of the year we easily use a whole person, but Matt would prefer to do it just in a different manner, so therefore it has not been charged much, but that's about to change.
Okay, and on the capital outlay, why is there an increase of 55,000?
When the village originally, back when the tax budget, I guess, was done, we did not anticipate the expenditure that we're going to have to repair
The retaining wall at the fire department.
Well, in addition to that, though, we have the deck and the storage area, the golf course underneath there. That's going to be quite a large expense. I got to tell you, it's estimated at this point to be a $75,000 cost. We don't know that that will actually be the case. It's not gone out to bid. Hopefully it will come in significantly lower. The piece we did do already at $15,000 was the electrical because that just couldn't wait. So that's, in the end, that may not all be spent, but it's in there now if we need it.
Okay, and on the golf course, I can see the reduction on the one, but what is their personal services? An increase by 7,000. Is that
We're just paying for
Right.
the grass cutting a different
the
way.
grass cutting?
Correct. It was previously anticipated to be a contractual service. Since it's our staff, we're just moving from one line up to
Okay.
salary line.
You should have gotten this, I think Matt sent it to everybody on the finance committee.
Well, I don't have a router. I called them, and I called them to the office, and I said, if there's something I need to know, and Matt and David responded, no, not that I know
Well,
of.
he would not have even known.
Yeah, he wouldn't have seen this, yeah.
He
So
hasn't
I did not have
Okay.
a way to get it.
Okay.
Well, you need to go get a router.
It's ordered, has not been delivered yet, and as soon as it gets delivered, it will get replaced.
I thought you were strangely quiet, Doug.
Okay, any other
That's my
comments?
new me? I don't know. I'm
So-
having an inquisitive mind today.
I'll share my
I don't know.
email with you.
Clerk, call the roll.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Reeves,
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2017-25-F passes. Calendar.
Community Development, September 12th, 5:15.
Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules, August 21st at 4 p.m.
August 5th, I have on here Touch a Truck or Cruiser at the Messiah Lutheran, just a reminder. And then August 26th, Member Appreciation Day at the pool, rain date of August 27th.
Mr. Mayor, did you put a date for the garden?
Well, we've got to decide, it's going to be after August the 8th.
Correct.
So we'll have to coordinate our schedules
Okay,
next,
all right.
the next council work session. Pick a time. Okay. Hearing no other business, the council's adjourned.
Okay.
January 29th is when y'all knew Greenkeeper was going, January 29th.